Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to have Music 6, Quarter 4 for week 3 and 4. And we are going to talk about texture of music. Objectives: know the meaning of musical texture, know the different kinds of musical texture, and distinguish the kinds of texture in each given situation. And learning competency identifies different textures. Let's have a quick review of the previous lesson that we had. Direction: identify the tempo markings being described by writing the missing letter. Okay, let's have number 1. Moderately slow. It refers to, yes, very good, moderato. Number 2. Fast, lively, and brisk. It refers to allegro. Number 3. Extremely fast tempo. Very good. It refers to prestissimo. And number 4, we have very slow and broad. Correct. It refers to largo. And lastly, number 5, very fast tempo. Yes, it refers to presto. Now this time, what images pop up in your mind when you hear or see the word texture? The images shows a picture. That texture may come up in our mind. We may not physically feel the roughness, smoothness, dryness, or wetness in the surface, but the images visually simulates the way these surfaces might feel. These are some of the examples of the different textures. And how do these different textures be expressed into sound? Did you ever try to sing? Have you watched a concert? Have you watched a choral singing in the church? How many voices did you hear? The many voices that you hear at the same time are called texture. Let us try to explore and learn more. So these are the 3 kinds of texture. We have monophonic, homophonic, and polyphonic. Let's have first monophonic. Monophonic comes from the word mono, which means one. It is sometimes called monophony and is considered as a thin texture. The monophonic texture has only one melodic line without harmony. Now let us try to listen to the monophonic sound. Alright, another example of monophonic texture is our Philippine national anthem, or any song sung in unison or in an a cappella, singing without musical accompaniment. The second kind of texture is homophonic. The homophonic textures occurs when the main melody is accompanied by chords. Sometimes the chords move at the same rhythm as the melody. Other times, the chords are made up of voices that move in counterpoint to each other. The homophonic texture has a thicker texture than the monophonic textures. Now this time, let us try to listen to the sound of homophonic texture. A song sung by a singer accompanied by piano or a guitar, referred to homophonic texture. This is another example of homophonic texture. So this is a live video that shows a singer which is holding his instrument. Now let's have the third kind of texture, which is polyphonic. Polyphonic comes from the word poly, which means many. A composition has polyphonic texture when two or more voices sing the melody but observe different rhythms. This is simply the same as the song sung together by different voices such as soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. Now let us try to listen to the sound of a polyphonic texture. A polyphonic texture can be observed with or without accompaniment. It is also considered as the thickest texture among the three types of texture. Another good example of this kind of texture is a round song, music for large instrumental groups sung with vocal arrangement. Now let's have another example of a polyphonic texture. Okay, the second video is a good example of a round song, and they are singing "Are You Sleeping, Brother John?" Now let's not forget that there are three kinds of texture. We have monophony, homophony, and polyphony texture. Let's have our first quiz. Directions. Identify the kind of texture being described in each situation. You tell whether it is a monophonic, homophonic, or polyphonic texture. Let's have number 1. Linda is singing a lullaby to make her baby brother sleep. What kind of texture is this? Yes, very good. It is a monophonic texture. Let us proceed to number 2. Mr. De Jesus taught her pupils to sing a round song entitled Row, Row, Row Your Boat. What kind of texture is this? Yes, it is indeed a polyphonic texture. And the clue there is a round song. Okay, let's have number 3. Leia Salonga and her brother is singing with a piano. What kind of texture is this? Very good. It is a homophonic texture. And the clue there, with a piano and the word and. Now let's have quiz number 2. Directions. Identify if the statement given is true or false. Write your answer on the space provided before the number. Let's have number 1. The three basic elements of music that represent texture are melody, articulation, and rhythm. The correct answer for statement number 1 is false. Let's have number 2. Polyphony is a musical texture consisting of two or more melodic lines being performed at the same time. Yes, the correct answer for number 2 is true. Number 3. The song Row, Row, Row Your Boat, sung by one person, would be an example of polyphonic texture. Answer number 3 is false. Number 4. Four trumpet players performing the same melodic line is an example of a monophonic texture. Answer number 4 is true. And number 5. Texture in music deals with the layers of sound in a musical composition. Answer number 5 is true. Very good. Well done, music learners. We are done with our lesson for today. I hope that you are going to find time to apply the musical concept of textures using musical symbols. Again, monophonic, homophonic, and polyphonic in music.